All right, let's dive straight into this CMU CS Academy material you've been looking at on Python functions. You're getting the hang of defining these reusable blocks of code, and you're curious about making them more powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where function parameters come in. They let you give your functions specific instructions when you use them. Think of it as, adding customizable settings to your code.
Exactly. And the CMU material does a pretty good job laying out the fundamental rule here. When you define a function with parameters, you absolutely must provide the same number of arguments when you call that function.
Ah, okay.
It's like a one-to-one correspondence.
Let's unpack that must-have match then, with the draw circled number example from the Academy. So this function is set up to take two parameters, first number and second color.
Right.
So when you actually want to use this function to draw, say, a yellow circle with the number 99 inside, you've got to provide both pieces of information. You'd write something like draw circled number 99, yellow.
And when you do that, Python neatly takes the first argument, 99, and assigns it to the number parameter inside the function.
Okay.
Then it takes the second argument, yellow, and assigns it to the color parameter. The function then uses these pieces of information to do its job. As the CMU material likely emphasizes, it's all about giving the function exactly what it expects.
Okay, makes sense. Now, what happens if you don't provide that exact match? Let's say you try to call draw circled number 99. You give the number, but you forget the color. What does the CMU material say happens in this oops, wrong number scenario?
Well, as you probably saw in the CMU examples, Python isn't going to guess what color you want.
Right.
It's expecting two inputs and only got one. So this will lead to an error.
An error, okay.
Now, the function was designed expecting both a number and a color, and without both, it can't run correctly. It's like trying to complete a fill-in-the-blank sentence with a blank still remaining. It's incomplete.
Right, and the CMU material probably points out that these errors, while they might seem frustrating at first, are actually really helpful, yeah.
Definitely.
They tell you something isn't quite right with how you're calling the function. And in this case, the error message would specifically say you're missing a required argument. So it's a direct clue to go back and check your function call against its definition.
And this brings us to another crucial point highlighted in the CMU material.
Yeah.
Even if you provide the correct number of arguments, the order in which you provide them absolutely matters.
All right.
Think of it like following a sequence of instructions. If you mix up the order, the result might not be what you intended at all.
This is the sneaky switcheroo, as we might call it.
Yeah.
Let's go back to draw circled number, which expects number first, then color. What happens if you accidentally call it like this? A draw circled number, yellow, 99.
Okay, so as the CMU examples probably demonstrate, Python will just try to follow your instructions literally.
Literally.
Yeah. It takes the first argument you give it, yellow, and tries to assign it to the first parameter, which is number. Then it takes the second argument, 99, and tries to assign it to the second parameter, color.
Which might not immediately throw an error,
Yes.
right? But as the CMU material likely shows, it can lead to some really weird outcomes.
Exactly.
The function's probably expecting to use that number parameter in some math operation, maybe to draw the number, but instead it gets the text yellow.
Yeah, and then when it tries to use the color parameter to fill the circle, it gets the number 99, which, well, that might not even be a valid color name in its system.
Huh.
Exactly. So you might end up with a drawing that's completely nonsensical, maybe a circle filled with some default color and the text yellow inside. Or even a crash if the code tries to do something with the string yellow as if it were a number.
Wow, okay.
The key lesson from the CMU material here is that Python doesn't have intuition. It just executes your instructions precisely as you provide them. So the order of your arguments must match the order of the parameters defined in the function.
So paying close attention to the order is vital. Avoids those kinds of logical errors where the code runs but doesn't do what you want. That's a really important detail to keep in mind as you start writing more complex functions with multiple parameters, like the CMU Academy probably emphasizes.
Definitely. Now, the CMU material also covers a slightly different scenario. Functions that don't require any additional information to do their job.
Ah, right.
These are functions defined without any parameters in the parentheses at all.
Right, like the draw circles function. The CMU Academy probably shows it defined simply as def draw circles with like nothing inside the parentheses. What does that tell Python?
This tells Python that this particular function doesn't need any extra inputs from you when you call it. It has all the instructions it needs built right into its definition.
Okay.
In the draw circles example, it likely just draws a couple of predefined circles, maybe a green one and a yellow one at specific spots like you mentioned.
And when you want to actually run this draw circles function, you still need to include those empty parentheses when you call it draw circles. Why is that important according to the CMU material?
Well, as the CMU Academy likely points out, those parentheses are the signal to Python that you want to execute the code inside the draw circles function.
The trigger.
Exactly. If you forget the parentheses and just write draw circles, Python will interpret that as you referring to the function itself, like the object, but not actually telling it to run. The CMU material might even have a checkpoint showing that Python will give you an error, maybe saying something like the function call requires parentheses.
So even when a function doesn't need any arguments, you still need to use those empty parentheses to make it go. It's a small but crucial bit of syntax that the CMU Academy likely stresses to avoid confusion.
Absolutely. The CMU CS Academy material provides a really solid foundation for understanding how functions use parameters to become more versatile. You've seen that getting the number of arguments to match the parameters is essential for avoiding immediate errors,
Right, the must-have match.
and that the order of those arguments dictates how the information is used within the function. You've also learned that some functions are designed to operate independently without needing any external info.
So as you continue working through the CMU Academy exercises and start building your own Python programs, remember these key points about function parameters and arguments. Paying attention to the must-have match in terms of quantity and the sneaky switcheroo of order will save you a lot of debugging headaches down the road.
Yep.
And don't forget those parentheses, even for functions that don't take any arguments.
Exactly. Mastering this fundamental aspect of functions will significantly enhance your ability to write more flexible and powerful code. The CMU CS Academy material is a great resource for practicing these concepts, so keep experimenting with defining and calling functions with different parameters.
It really highlights how precise you need to be when giving instructions to a computer in code. Thinking about how functions are designed to take in specific pieces of information, well, it makes you consider how you would design a function to handle a situation where some information might be missing or incorrect in a real-world program.
That's a good point, like error handling or default values.
Exactly. What strategies might you use to make your functions more robust in those kinds of scenarios? That's something interesting to ponder as you continue your Python journey.